Like this, we talking about Jadakiss, the locks, you know what I mean? He, you know what I mean, a vet in the game. I don't think at that time nobody would even attempt to cross LOX at that time in that battle for any reason. So me being who I am, I show no fear. I was like, win, lose, or draw.
But I never, like, I've had a long conversation with DMX only because it would be like, pause. He had these, like, he just had these moments in the dressing room, but I don't think he respected Jay.
Hip-hop has always had rivalries, but sometimes those battles go way beyond music and become deeply personal. When that happens, it doesn't just affect the artists, it pulls in their crews, friends, business partners, and even entire record labels. One of the biggest examples came in the early 2000s when Beanie Sigel and Jadakiss went head-to-head in a brutal lyrical clash that turned into a full-on Roc-A-Fella versus Ruff Ryders showdown. It wasn't just about who had the better bars.
And how did everything between you and Jadakiss kick off?
Oh, shit, man. Freestyles back and forth. It just happened. Guess that's my man. I don't want to relive that.
The tension had been building for years because of deeper issues, long-running competition, and street connections that already existed around New York's rap scene. But the story didn't end when the diss tracks slowed down. Years later, the biggest cracks appeared inside the camps themselves. One of the most surprising fallouts happened between Beanie Sigel and his own label boss, Jay-Z. Their relationship took a serious hit during Sigel's 2003 attempted murder trial. During the court proceedings, the judge asked if Jay-Z would officially take responsibility for Sigel while he was out on bail. Jay-Z declined, and Sigel saw that decision as a major betrayal after everything he believed he had done for the Roc-A-Fella team. The situation became even more tense during a later Powerhouse concert in Philadelphia. Sigel tried to join his former rival Jadakiss on stage during the performance, but Jay-Z reportedly worried that the moment could create security problems or unnecessary chaos. Because of those concerns, security staff, along with local law enforcement, removed Sigel from the venue. That moment stayed with him, and years later, he poured those feelings into the leaked 2009 diss track, What You Talking About, also known as Average Cat, which later appeared on his 2010 collaborative project with Freeway, the Rock Boys. In the song, Sigel criticized his former mentor, saying that while he stayed true to himself during his legal case, Sean Carter chose to involve law enforcement simply because Sigel was standing in the front row during the Blueprint 3 tour. The song ended with a long, emotional speech that reminded many listeners of Tupac Shakur's passionate style. During that closing moment, Sigel reflected on how much loyalty he had shown, admitting he regretted going after artists like Nas and Jadakiss simply because he believed he was defending his label. Even with all the frustration and disappointment, Sigel later said he still had love for what Roc-A-Fella had built. As the years passed, he offered apologies, acknowledged his mistakes, and gave Jay-Z credit for giving him the opportunity that completely changed his career. At the same time, major problems behind the scenes were changing the careers of other key names from this legendary rap rivalry. In a 2012 interview on The Breakfast Club, DMX claimed that Jay-Z played a big role in slowing down his career after becoming president of Def Jam Recordings, the label that handled DMX's music. According to DMX, he believed Jay-Z was holding back his momentum to reduce the competition.
You know, when he first got the job, he hit me with the call like, yo, dog, inmates is running the building like, yo, you good? Finish the album, shoot the video. What happened? He's going on vacation and, you know, we don't know. What you mean you don't know? How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know? Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label, now you're back rapping again. Okay.
He pointed to the unusual 3-year gap between his 2003 album and his eventual move to Columbia Records in 2006 as proof that something wasn't right. But that version of the story didn't go unchallenged. Ruff Ryders co-founder D later shared a different perspective. He explained that when he personally worked out DMX's release from Def Jam, Jay-Z agreed to forgive a reported $12 million debt without placing any conditions on the deal. D also said the real issue wasn't business alone. In his view, DMX simply refused to accept Jay-Z as his boss because he truly believed he was the better rapper. And that mindset made the relationship difficult from the start.
Was there any issues between DMX and Jay? Because I know DMX, he made some comments about Jay where he felt like, he wasn't promoting him when he was at Def Jam. So
I was already checked out by then. I don't think DMX ever respected Jay. They used to battle. I remember, man, we was battling before we made money. The people that were on that label, I don't think none of them respect Jay. I don't think none of them. Well, it was two kind of hustlers. They were different. I don't think they respect. I mean, you could ask them. Look at the interviews.
Even as old alliances started falling apart, something unexpected was happening. Former rivals were beginning to work together instead of against each other. Jadakiss followed a path similar to Nas, who had signed with Def Jam in 2006 by joining the same corporate umbrella in 2007. That move eventually led to the release of his third solo album, The Last Kiss, in 2009, and showed just how much the landscape had changed. By 2005, the long-running tension between the Lox and State Property had cooled down, opening the door for several major collaborations. One of the first signs came on the remix of Chic Louch's Kiss Your Ass Goodbye, where Jadakiss, Beanie Sigel, and Fabulous all appeared on the same track. The momentum kept growing. In December 2007, Styles P and Beanie Sigel teamed up on You Ain't Ready For Me, a song released on both Styles P's Super Gangster, Extraordinary Gentleman, and Sigel's The Solution. The connection became so strong that Sigel even spoke publicly about making a full collaborative album with Jadakiss, although the project was never released.
I had to show up.
Man, okay. I mean, were you a little intimidated by that lineup?
Hell yeah. Intimidated and excited at the same time, because at the time, Lox was like, that's all I was listening to. Me and my man Rahisi, we used to drive from Philly up to New York and cop the mixtapes off of Broadway and bring them back. I remember when the Lox, when they was the Warlocks before just the Lox. And they was like one of my top go-tos, like I used to listen to before. So that's what I was listening to. So to come in and like to land and get on the record with them was a big deal for me.
The final chapter of this long-running story came years later. In December 2016, the Lox released Filthy America, It's Beautiful. On the reflective track, What Else You Need to Know, Styles P looked back at past conflicts involving artists like Benzino and Trick Trick, while also mentioning the old Roc-A-Fella battle. In his lyrics, he recalled that they were ready to face Jay-Z, Beanie Sigel, and Freeway during those intense days, reflecting on how everyone involved was operating under the harsh realities and mindset of the streets at that time. The roots of this explosive rivalry actually go back much further than most people realize. Long before Roc-A-Fella and Ruff Ryders became two of hip-hop's biggest powerhouses, the competitive energy was already building in the early 1990s. One of the most talked about moments was a legendary rap battle in the Bronx between DMX and Jay-Z. Even though the battle was never officially recorded, it became part of hip-hop history.
Two of the biggest artists at the time. These are literally two of the biggest artists at the time just backstage freestyling. We don't even get rappers too afraid to rap around each other nowadays, man. These why these two goats. Jay slid. Now, dog, let's get him, Earl.
Act like you don't know what I'm saying? Read about it.
There's something about his flow, his cadence, the way he speaks. He feels like a preacher. It's like he's giving a sermon. Oh, Jay, he might have got you, gang.
Shoot through the pillow. So my shit is pro.
Rest in peace to Earl.
Important figures like Roc-A-Fella founders Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke, along with Ruff Ryders Joaquin Wah Dean, were there to witness it. Not surprisingly, each side walked away convinced that their own artist had won, and that moment helped spark a rivalry that would last for years. Even with that competitive edge, the two stars still showed respect for each other's talent from time to time. DMX and the Lox appeared on Jay-Z's third studio album, while Jay-Z returned the favor by appearing on DMX's second album. Around that same period, producer and music executive Irv Gotti tried to bring several major names together by creating a group called Murder Inc., featuring Jay-Z, DMX, and Ja Rule. The trio made its debut on Time to Build from Mick Geronimo's 1995 album, The Natural. But the group didn't last long. Reports over the years have suggested that strong personalities and creative differences between Jay-Z and DMX made it difficult for the project to continue.
They tell me I'm gonna get an award. I said, but we want you to perform with Jay-Z. I'm like, you know what? I don't mind performing with Jay-Z, but they wanted me to come out, like we both walk out together. He does 8 bars or 16 bars of one of his songs. So what the fuck am I supposed to be doing while he's doing his song? Oh, you just like on stage with him. I'm like, no, ain't nobody's fucking hype, man. I'm not walking out on stage with him while he does his one song, then we do our song together, and then I do my song. Nah, that's not happening. You know, if I'm already getting this award, then I've already earned this award. I shouldn't have to perform to get it, because I already earned it.
Before long, each artist became one of the biggest faces of rival camps, with Jay-Z leading Roc-A-Fella and DMX becoming a central force for Ruff Ryders. As the 1990s came to an end, both sides started adding talented street rappers who would soon become major voices in the growing rivalry. Beanie Sigel joined Roc-A-Fella around 1999 and later helped form the Philadelphia group State Property by 2001.
I got signed to Roc-A-Fella. I battled this group, Philly's Most Wanted. And when I battled them, me and my partner at the time, Murder Mill, I exchanged numbers with with the head of their group, Bubonic. Shout out to Arta Albacea. And he told me that they had a couple meetings and they was going up to Roc-A-Fella Records to go meet with Jay. He wound up not going. I actually tried to duck that meeting and go to a dog fight. And I wound up taking the meeting, and when I went up there with him, I just went as a spectator. It wasn't my meeting. And I wound up rapping for Jay, and it was on. Like the next day, they was like, yo, we want that kid.
On the other side, Jadakiss had already built a close partnership with his childhood friends Styles P and Sheek Louch. The trio first performed as the Bomb Squad before changing their name to the Warlocks. After signing with Sean Diddy Combs and Bad Boy Records in 1995, they shortened the name to the Locks at Diddy's request. The competitive shots started showing up in the music before the rivalry exploded into the open. On Jay-Z's 1998 song Reservoir Dogs from Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, which featured Beanie Sigel, Sauce Money, and The Locks, Styles P opened with a sharp line aimed at an unnamed rapper and that artist's upcoming album. Years later, journalist Rob Markman interviewed Jadakiss, who said that Styles had been taking aim at Jay-Z as part of the competitive spirit of rap at the time. Jay-Z didn't seem to back away. On It's Like That, from the same album, he delivered a line saying he rarely dealt with other rappers unless he was challenging DMX or trading bars with The Locks. Still, it wasn't all hostility. On Foxy Brown's 1999 song 456 from China Doll, Beanie Sigel actually gave The Locks a respectful shout-out, saying people wondered how he earned his place at Roc-A-Fella, while explaining that he learned by studying and watching the moves of The Locks. The relationship between these camps didn't fall apart overnight. A series of major industry decisions slowly turned friendly competition into real tension. One of the biggest moments came in April 2000 when Maya released Fear of Flying. The original version of her hit single, The Best of Me, featured a guest verse from Jadakiss, but later that year, when The Best of Me Part 2 was released for the Backstage documentary soundtrack, Jadakiss was gone. His verse had been replaced by Jay-Z, putting a completely different spotlight on the song.
Best of Me Part 2 was a remix to the original.
With Jadakiss.
People thought back then that's when Jada and Jay-Z were going back and forth.
Really?
And they always used to say that Jay did that because he wanted to one-up Jadakiss because the
Do
record...
they have beef?
Back then they were going back and forth, absolutely. So
I didn't even know that.
Was it true like Hov was playing like corporate politics, like whenever you would be on a record?
Yeah, you seen that. You see what he was doing. Nah, he do the original, or I do the original, then he do the remix. Yeah. I really think Steve Stout had a little bit to do with that.
At first, that could have looked like a normal business decision. But then something very similar happened again. R. Kelly's 2000 album TP-2.com originally included a version of Fiesta with a Jadakiss verse that had already been circulated. When the official remix arrived in 2001, Jadakiss was no longer on the record, and Jay-Z had taken his place instead.
So Steve Stout had all of these relationships and had Jay-Z pop on the remix.
Fiesta remix,
Yep.
the original, the Maya joint. It was just like, you know what I mean? You want to poke the bear?
After seeing the same kind of switch happen twice, the frustration reportedly became impossible to ignore. Looking back during an interview with Vlad TV, Beanie Sigel said he believed the fallout surrounding the Fiesta remix was one of the biggest reasons the rivalry between Roc-A-Fella and Ruff Ryders reached another level. Once that tension was in the air, the music quickly became the battleground. In January 2000, The Locks released We Are the Streets through Ruff Ryders, One standout track, Felony Niggas, featured Styles P, making a bold claim that only 6 rappers deserve to be considered truly elite. He also warned that people often faced serious consequences for bragging too much about where they came from. Many listeners took those lyrics as a response to Jay-Z's earlier song, Where I'm From. Fans and commentators widely interpreted Styles' message as placing himself, Jadakiss, and Sheek Louch among hip-hop's top lyricists, alongside names that were already considered legendary. Roc-A-Fella didn't stay quiet for long. On Beanie Sigel's album The Reason, the song Beanie included a line that appeared to joke about another rapper driving a Mercedes-Benz CLK 430 with small rims while comparing it to his own Bentley. Years later, during an interview with Rob Markman, Jadakiss said he immediately believed the lyric was aimed directly at his own car. When the two artists later spoke during a period when things had calmed down, Jadakiss asked Sigel about the line. According to Jadakiss, Sigel smiled it off and denied it was a personal shot, saying it was simply competitive rap talk and nothing more. By the summer of 2001, the rivalry had reached a whole new level. In July, Jadakiss gave a headline-grabbing interview to The Source magazine where he made a bold claim. He argued that Philadelphia's rap scene had become successful by following the style he helped create, saying many artists from the city sounded like they were copying his delivery. The comments quickly added even more tension to an already heated situation. Just weeks later, in August 2001, Jadakiss released his solo debut, Kiss the Game Goodbye. The album immediately added more fuel to the lyrical battle. On the track, featuring DMX, X delivered a line aimed at Jay-Z, saying he had only allowed him to wear the lyrical crown because he wanted the chance to take it away himself. Jadakiss also went directly at Beanie Sigel, cleverly referencing Sigel's first 2 albums, The Truth and The Reason, while making aggressive lyrical threats in classic battle rap fashion. Another standout track, Time's Up, brought together Eve, Drag On, Styles P, Sheek Louch, Infrared, and Cross, with many listeners hearing multiple shots aimed at Roc-A-Fella throughout the song. Years later, producer Just Blaze revealed in an interview with Complex that he had originally given Jadakiss the beat before the rivalry fully exploded. By the time the final version was completed, however, the record had taken on a completely different meaning as tensions between the camps grew. As things became more serious, music executive Russell Simmons reportedly tried to calm the situation by bringing both sides together for peace talks. Despite those efforts, no agreement was reached. Beanie Sigel later confirmed during a radio interview that the meeting had happened, but he made it clear the lyrical battle was far from over. One reason this rivalry became so legendary was because many of the biggest responses didn't arrive as official singles. Instead, they spread through radio freestyles and exclusive recordings that moved quickly through hip-hop fans, making the timeline hard to follow, but the competition impossible to ignore. Beanie Sigel answered with a hard-hitting freestyle over Jadakiss's own Put Your Hands Up beat. Right from the start, he attacked Jadakiss with sharp wordplay, even twisting the title of Kiss the Game Goodbye into one of his biggest punchlines. Throughout the freestyle, Sigel questioned Jadakiss's success, criticized D-Block, and even suggested that Styles P deserved more credit for some of Jadakiss's strongest lyrics. He also referenced the relationship between their camps, mentioning DMX's famous Tommy Buns character from the film Belly, while making it clear that he believed Roc-A-Fella was ready for whatever came next. Jadakiss fired back almost immediately over Seventh Wonder's Daisy Lady instrumental. He claimed that Beanie Sigel had built parts of his style by studying the Lox, pointing back to Siegel's own lyrics on Foxy Brown's 456, where Sigel had praised the group and said he learned from watching them. Jadakiss also delivered a clever hometown joke by saying Siegel's next performance should happen over a Cisco wine beat after taking lyrical damage. To close things out, he flipped the melody from Jay-Z's hit Izzo, H-O-V-A, spelling out his own name while dismissing Sigel with a final lyrical jab that quickly became one of the most talked about moments of the exchange. By October 2001, the rivalry had moved far beyond the recording booth and onto the concert stage. During Philadelphia's annual Powerhouse concert, Jadakiss stepped into Beanie Sigel's hometown and made sure everyone knew he wasn't backing down. In the middle of his performance, he He stopped the music and delivered an intense a cappella verse aimed directly at Sigel. The lyrics included harsh battle rap insults and bold threats in the tradition of competitive hip-hop, and the Philadelphia crowd immediately responded with loud boos. Even with the hostile reaction, Jadakiss stayed calm, finished his set, and later performed that same verse for a national audience on BET's Rap City over Nate Dogg's Lay Low instrumental. News of what happened quickly reached Beanie Sigel. According to accounts of the event, Sigel made his way to the venue, got on stage, and answered with an emotional freestyle of his own. His response included several extremely personal insults directed at Jadakiss before shifting into attacks on Jadakiss's reputation and street image. Sigel also questioned Jadakiss' past connection to the notorious B.I.G., suggesting that his rival had benefited from being around major moments without playing the role that some people believed. It was another sign that the lyrical battle had become deeply personal. Sigel kept the pressure on during another radio freestyle over G-Dep's special delivery beat. Although much of that appearance focused on Nas, who was also involved in a major lyrical feud with Jay-Z at the time, Sigel turned his attention back to Ruff Ryders before the freestyle ended. One of his most memorable lines jokingly called Jadakiss Jada Pinkett of the Kiss, using a play on words to question his rival's image and authenticity. Other members of State Property also joined the session, expanding the battle beyond Jadakiss and taking lyrical shots at the entire D-Block crew. The same verse later appeared again during a 2002 appearance on BET's Rap City, where Sigel and State Property also performed another freestyle over Cam'ron's 357 instrumental. Around that time, some hip-hop fans noticed that Sheek Louch was mentioned far less than the other members of the Lox during many of the exchanges, leading to discussion about his smaller role in the back and forth. The Lox had no intention of staying silent. Styles P answered with his own freestyle over Ray J's Wait a Minute instrumental. He criticized Roc-A-Fella's flashy image, contrasting expensive celebrations with the realities often described in street-focused rap. Styles also directed sharp lyrics at Dame Dash, suggesting that confidence built on luxury could quickly disappear under real pressure. To close the verse, he referenced the earlier Reservoir Dogs collaboration, using the title in a dark piece of battle rap wordplay aimed at Jay-Z, Beanie Sigel, and Sauce Money. The exchange showed that neither side was ready to let the rivalry fade anytime soon. Even while the artists traded lyrical shots, the biggest moves were still happening behind the scenes. In September 2001, Jay-Z released The Blueprint, featuring the legendary diss track Takeover. Most of his attention was focused on Prodigy of Mobb Deep and Nas, while much of the back and forth with the Lox was left to Beanie Sigel and the rest of State Property. Just a few months later, Nas answered with the iconic Ether on Stillmatic. During one memorable line, Nas told Jay-Z to ask Jadakiss about him. Years later, Jadakiss said in interviews that Jay-Z would sometimes make subtle lyrical references toward him on records, then reportedly reach out afterward through his two-way pager to smooth things over, giving fans even more insight into how complicated their relationship had become. The Lox didn't let The Blueprint go unanswered. They recorded their own response over Jay-Z's Jigga That Nigga instrumental, with Styles P delivering one of the hardest verses from the entire exchange. By this point, nearly every freestyle, mixtape, and radio appearance felt like another chapter in one of hip-hop's most unforgettable lyrical wars. Away from the microphones, several incidents showed just how tense things had become. Over the years, members of both camps have described confrontations and close calls that could have ended much worse. In a Rap Radar interview, the Lox recalled several dangerous moments from that era. Styles P spoke about waiting outside New York's Hit Factory studio, hoping for a confrontation with Beanie Sigel, while also communicating with him by phone. Jadakiss shared that during one especially emotional moment, he considered confronting his rivals at Hot 97 while armed, but ultimately chose not to act on those thoughts. Styles P and Sheek Louch also remembered unexpectedly running into Freeway at a hotel in Puerto Rico. Although they first talked about confronting him physically, they instead decided to have a conversation and walked away without violence. Later, at the Mandarin Hotel in Miami, D-Block affiliate J-Hood reportedly prepared to confront Freeway before people around them stepped in and calmed the situation. Looking back, Those moments serve as reminders of how important it was that cooler heads eventually prevailed. As the years passed, the rivalry faded, and many of the personal issues were left behind. The story took on a more emotional meaning in April 2021 with the passing of DMX, one of the central figures connected to the era. For years, fans had dreamed about seeing DMX and Jay-Z face each other in a versus battle that echoed their famous 1990s history. Instead, DMX's final versus appearance came in 2020 against Snoop Dogg, creating another unforgettable moment before his passing. Today, the Roc-A-Fella and Ruff Ryders rivalry is remembered as one of the greatest examples of competitive lyricism in hip-hop history, showing just how intense rap battles could become without defining the artist's entire legacies. What do you think was the hardest diss from this legendary feud, and which side do you think won the battle? Roc-A-Fella or Ruff Ryders? Let everyone know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into hip-hop history.